Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome to our Wednesday class, our full body conditioning day. So, as per usual, we're getting used to the theme here. We're going to start off with doing a nice warm up together and talking about the equipment you need, which today is very simple. We need our mat, we need our supportive footwear, as well as our dumbbells. That's pretty much it. If you don't have dumbbells, you can always just use a heavy household item, or moderately heavy, I should say. Couple water bottles, a water bottle, something along those lines, throw a pillow, whatever you got. Okay, so let's start off with this warm up before we get into our conditioning circuits that we are going to do today. Come on, join me at the very end of your mat, hip width apart of the feet, soft knees. We'll hinge those hips back, getting that stretching feeling in the back of the legs. Bringing the hands to the floor, walking ourselves all the way down to the bottom. Once we get here, we're going to step in and open towards that leg. Stepping back into the plank. Switching over to the other side, following that hand with the eyes, pushing those hips back up to the ceiling, walking back up to the top. Once we reach here, arms go up above our head. We're going to side bend action over to one side, side bend over to the other. That's one. We're doing that 2 more times. So yeah, we're doing these together. So come on back down into your second one. Again, opening up, feeling that stretch through the glutes, the hips, chest, shoulders. It's a full body situation. Again, walking back up to the top. Arms go up and we reach and we reach, and we have 1 more of those to go. So last one, we'll see if maybe we can step that hand a little bit closer, or that foot rather, a little bit closer towards the hand. But we're not forcing anything, especially because when we're doing this, we probably haven't done too much before this, let alone anything that's going to move our body in these motions. So we'll get through this last one, relaxing our arms down by our sides. We'll give ourselves 3 nice big rotations in each direction through our shoulders. So we'll keep those arms down by our sides, straight arms, open palms, reaching those fingertips away from the shoulders. 3, and then we'll stop and we'll go through 3 in the opposite direction. Finishing up those ones, squat stance. In our feet, which we know is a little bit wider than our shoulders, slight angle out in our toes. Arms are going to come in front of us, bending the arms 90 degrees in the elbows. We're going to sit down into a squat. At the same time, we're pushing our arms up above our head into this overhead squat position. Standing, arms back down by our sides. That's 1. We're doing 10 of these total. So we're trying our best to get down to 90 degrees. Keep that entire foot flat on the floor. And at the bottom of that squat, we should not see our hands because they want to be in that overhead position, not in front of our face. So we'll get through these ones. 5 more to go. As we sit down, we're going to exhale and push our breath out, trying to sit down into that squat nice and deep, opening up the hips, pushing the knees away from each other. 2 more. Breathing through them. Last one. And then we are going to narrow up our feet into our deadlifting position. Soft knees. This time arms go up and stay up. We're going to overhead hip hinge. So we're trying to move solely through the hips, pushing our hips back behind us, pulling those hips forward. 10 reps total of these ones, getting that nice opening stretch through the back of the legs. It always feels so good. We're also going to feel our core working as we work through these. A little bit of work in the shoulders as well, because we got to keep those arms above our head. And we're breathing, inhaling down, exhaling, squeezing our butt to lift us up. 2 more. Again, stretching the back of the legs. Last one. And then, I'm always referencing my list here. I can't remember these ones. Down on the floor we go into some bird dogs. So we're getting into our hands and knees. All 4 position, we want to make sure shoulders are on the wrists, hips are on the knees, lifting up opposite arm, opposite leg, putting them back down where they started, and switching. Alternating our limbs every time we switch. Working through 20 reps total, trying to get a nice elongated position. So those arms, those legs are reaching away from the body, away from the midline, lengthening, long and strong, with that arm and leg so that we have that nice straight line. We're feeling our glute work as we kick that leg up, core work as we go through these, and we'll get you guys going through 5 more total to make it 20 reps. I kind of stopped there a little bit. So we'll breathe through these ones. Again, inhaling here, exhaling as we reach up and away. 2 more. Last one. And then before we go anywhere, we're going to pop up into a plank, lift those hips up, and walk our heels. One heel drops, other one bends up, so the knee bends. Feeling that stretch through the calves, the hamstrings, lifting those hips up to the ceiling. 10 of these total, 5 on each side. Get a little blood flow to the upper body, to the head. We'll work through these ones, a couple more of them. Taking our sweet time with them. And then we will stand up, however you need to stand up, off of the floor. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit more warm. We have one last final part to the warm-up here, which is our opposite arm, opposite leg reach. So we're working straight arms, straight legs. Don't have to touch. In fact, you probably won't want to touch because that will make this extremely uncomfortable. We want to keep our limbs straight. So however close you can get them, that is a great place to be. We're all going to look different. All of our bodies are a little bit different. But we'll reach towards that direction and opening up the hamstring, getting that work through our core, feeling everything in here as we lift up that arm and leg. We're doing 20 of them, so we have about 10 more to go here. Get chest up. One arm stays, one arm leaves. Reaching across the body to the midline. 3, 2, 1. Okay, my friends. Hopefully you're feeling warm because we are finished the warm-up. Excuse me. We're going to get you started on our 3 different conditioning circuits that we are going to work through today. There's one similar variable through all of these 3, which is our time frame. We're going to be working for 60 seconds on, 20 seconds of rest between each of those minutes. 2 exercises for each of these circuits, or supersets, sometimes we call them. We're going back to back between these 2 movements. The next part is again, we're on that timer. So again, we want that interval timer that you hopefully have downloaded on your phone, your iPad, your laptop, whatever you're working on. Worst case, you can always just follow a running clock if you need to, but it's much more easy to follow along if you have that start and stop beep. So starting off with our first superset, and you're completing 4 rounds of the following. We will need our dumbbells. So I have my 8-pounders here. If your weights are on the heavier side, you can always use one holding it sideways, one in each hand. We're going to get ourselves into a little bit of a hybrid stance. So we're not quite in the squat, we're not quite in the deadlift. We want to be in the middle, a little bit of an angle out in our toes. We're going to swing the weights through, step back into the lunge, swing the weights, back into the lunge. And this is going to be us landing in that lunge between each of these squats through 60 seconds. So again, if you find these weights are too heavy, you can always hold one sideways like this, and then work with that same thing, trying to get in the squat, sort of pulsing between those lunges. And that is us for our first exercise. With this one, already got me going there. We have bear crawls, which will definitely get you going. Down on the floor we go. We're going to work with a forward-backward bear crawl. I'll be using the length of my mat, but again, if you have more space, you can bear crawl as far as you would like. We want to make sure that we're moving opposite arm, opposite leg together, forward, and we have some backwards travel as well. So this is all the space I have. Again, if I had more, I could walk all the way across the room, whatever floats your boat, okay? 60 seconds here too. So we have 20 seconds set as our rest interval, 60 seconds is the work, and you are doing 4 sets total. So hit pause, go get that done, and I will see you back here for our second of 3 these different circuits. Here we go. Okay, welcome back, my friends. Woo! So yes, I'm probably happy that one is done. We are here for the second one. So we're going to start off with our unweighted exercise, which is going to be a pulsing squat jump. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we're following that same time format. Oh yes, 60 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So we want that squat stance in our feet, arms are in front of us, sitting down, 1, 2, squat jump, 1, 2, squat jump. If we want to take a bit more time between those squat jumps, maybe we're getting a little on the tired side, we can add in more than one pulse at the bottom. So we can add 2, maybe 3 pulses. But keep in mind, your legs, they're going to burn pretty much no matter what. So we really do want to pace ourselves. Worst case, if you feel like you are not going to make it, or maybe you just don't jump because you were low impact, what we're going to do is take that jump out of it. We can just stand up between those reps rather than jumping and leaving the floor. So that's our first movement, 60 seconds, 20 seconds of rest for you to breathe, regroup, which I know does not feel like a lot when you're actually doing these movements together. But that is enough time for you to get down on the floor for our second one, which is going to be an alternating side plank with a dumbbell reach and lift. So we're using one dumbbell. I'm going to put it down on the floor in front of me here. High plank position. So we're on our hands, our toes. We want to widen up our feet a little bit wider than shoulder width so that we can roll our feet, pushing that dumbbell up into this nice strong side plank position. Then we come down, put it down in front of us, pick it up with the other hand, follow that hand with our eyes. So we're watching where that dumbbell goes. Number one, so that we don't accidentally punch ourselves in the head or face. Don't laugh, it happens sometimes and it's not pleasant. I don't want you to go through it. So watch that dumbbell. And number two, that's going to help us get that nice opening rotation through our core and our hips. Because again, we want to open up and roll onto the sides of our feet. 60 seconds, okay? 4 sets of this. And then you'll be done these 2, which is again, going to feel good once you're finished, not in the moment. And I will see you back here for part 3, the last part of our conditioning. Press pause, go get it done, and I'll meet you back here. All right, welcome back. Woo, it's hard to say. They're getting harder or easier, I don't know, but you're almost there. We have one last superset to go through, one last circuit, 2 exercises. We have a paused thruster. So for these ones, again, same time format, 1 minute of work, squat stance in our feet. We're gonna sit down and hold for 1, 2, and then push up and hold for 1, 2. Pausing both ends of the thruster, 1, 2. Exhale, holding up here, 1, 2. Oh yeah. Same thing if your weights are on the heavy side or if they're starting to feel too heavy as we go through our 4 sets. That is what's up for this part. We can always put one dumbbell down, hold it sideways, or again, sub it for a heavy household item, maybe a couple candles, water bottle, something along those lines. That is going to be our first movement. Second one is going to be a lateral high knee. So we're coming to one side of the mat, and we're going to work with lateral high knees. We're driving our knees up to our chest, pulsing those arms. And if we don't jump, we're essentially going to be marching our way over side to side. And we're working left and right through these high knees for that second 60-second round. Now that one is no joke. You're really going to feel that one. So if you feel like you can't make it, if you're not going to be able to do that for a full 60, you can always sub in a butt kick jog rather than the high knee run, okay? All right, couple deep breaths, hit your pause button, go do that work, 4 sets total, and then I will see you back here for our last and final part, some stretches, which are gonna feel very good after all that stuff. Okay, go get it done. All right, deep breaths, everyone. We are here, finished the work for today's Wednesday full body session. Again, hopefully you feel good, but I know how you feel. You probably don't feel that good right now. We want to feel rested, like we can actually talk to someone before we jump into these stretches. So if you're still feeling really hot and heavy, like you can't catch your breath, and you're huffing and puffing all in your chest, take a bit more time. You can always press pause on this video, breathe deep breaths into your belly, try to get in that oxygen, do some laps, grab some water, because that work that you just did, it was very challenging. And I know that, especially if you pushed yourself, like I require of this stuff. When you feel okay, like you could answer a question. If I asked you what you're doing today, you could actually tell me without breathing all over me. Then we're going to jump into these stretches. No jumping required. But we're going to go into these stretches here, which are going to help us loosen up all the stuff we just did from today. First one's a standing hip flexor stretch. We're going to start off hip width apart, stepping back into a lunge, shifting that knee, front knee forward, putting the heel down of the back leg and then tilting our pelvis under so we get that nice stretch down the front of the hip. Then we'll reach both arms up and above our head. If you're feeling a little off balance, you can always hold on with one hand. And again, just reach up with the other. Very important here that we're tilting that pelvis to get that nice stretch through the hip. We'll probably feel the quad because of those burn-in leg exercises we did. Maybe even a little bit into our core. And we're going to hold this here 30 to 60 seconds. Soon I will stop having to say that because you'll just know how to hold these stretches. But until then, 30 to 60, we have that range there. If you're short on time, if you have places to be, then just hold 30 seconds, do at least one set. But if you have a bit more time, you can hold upward to 60 and switch sides. And you can even complete more than one round, upward to 3 or 4 rounds of this, especially if you're feeling kind of tight in the hips. So we did a lot of stuff to involve them. So this is going to be our first one. Second one is sort of a full body situation. We're going to take our hands, interlace our fingers, tuck our chin, spread the shoulders apart, and we'll take as much time as we want to slowly round down, all the way down until we end up in this position down here, involving that low back, upper back, behind the shoulders, behind the neck, getting that nice lengthening feeling on our spine. Again, 30 seconds, shortest, upward to 1 minute. So get your timers out, as sometimes it's easy to sort of rush through these. We're going to get a lot more if we can hang out in these positions. Once you're done, you can slowly round back up. Get that nice focus on the shoulder blades pulling apart. Release that. And then the last and final one is down on the floor. So for a combination move, back in our all-four position, we can work with our cat-cow. So inhaling and exhaling into the cat or cow. Some people, disagree with which one's which. And then taking a big breath and inhaling, exhaling into that other one there where we're arching our back. So again, we can do this for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or maybe just count reps, 3 to 5 reps of this. And then once you're done, you can finish off in this child's pose, technical yoga term, where we walk our fingertips away from the body and hang out in this nice full back stretch, feeling your upper back, lower back, back of the hips. And that is all, my friends. If there's any other stretches, as per usual, you can feel free to add them in, but that is all that you are required to do today. So hopefully you feel good now after doing those stretches, and I will see you tomorrow for our last upper body session of the week, second last session. Okay, have a good day, and good job, everyone.